That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me Fuck all that shit, just let me go.
Broadcast live, Florida, Europe. This is the most badass YouTube broadcast out. The only ladies and gentlemen, Tommy C. This is a shot from the point. I got my point man today, of course. We got Jeff right there. We got Mr. Nick Diorio. He's going to be behind the glass along with my main man, Dr. Zhivago. How are you?
I never sucked any ding-dongs.
No. So, welcome. Now, thanks for the roast before the show, Nick. I appreciate that. I don't know. I want to do something different once
Priorities.
in a while. Yeah, well, I want to do something different once in a while. And Sunday tends to be our
good social climber, Tommy.
I suppose.
No, Amanda's got a more important question. Why are you in the Bloods, Tommy, and why is Jeff a part of the Crips?
Good point. Good point. We're all wearing gang colors. No, it's a sheer coincidence. It's a sheer coincidence. Yeah, it does look like we're going to a Halo tournament. Guess what side we're playing? Guess we're side of it. All right, I got an interesting story that I was kind of personally involved in, and it was kind of a screw up. So, a scientist found a cure for cancer. Tommy Litz talks about arcades. Absolutely. I'm not here to talk about arcades or my arcades or anything else. If I was going to put this episode, it's kind of along the geekdom lines. That's what I'm saying, because we got two guys here that really, really love arcades more than you. In fact, not only that, you're hurting their hobby. You know, that's the kind of
how deep does the love go?
You'll see. It's laugh out loud funny.
Okay.
It's laugh out loud funny. Like
I didn't fuck my arcade. I didn't come in my arcade.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. It's beyond. If you think I have a problem with this shit, you have no idea. I have no idea. It basically works down like this: the real arcade guys, the restoration guys, the guys that find the old things, they put them together, and they do great work. They don't like Arcade1up because you'll never believe this, Jeff. They're not real.
Really?
They're not real arcades, and apparently, everybody has fooled the people that bought Arcade1up because they think they're real, and they're not. They're not the same thing. And he actually takes some shots at some YouTubers that I know. Actually, he was very careful. One of the guys was actually very careful not to name any because he was making a straw man argument. But yeah, it's pretty good. But on the flip side, I actually do owe these guys a little bit of apology, and you're probably going to laugh at this. There's a YouTuber that I know or I'm a fan of. He's recently just followed me on Twitter. His name is Retro Ralph, and his whole thing is making modifications. He gets them as cheap as he can, and he turns them into something else. So this podcast that I'm about to play, this section of the podcast was in a lot of these Arcade1up Facebook groups. So, and I didn't notice it said this is a fake DM. This is 100% fake. So it says, "Are you the Retro Ralph guy?" Yes. Arcade1up sucks. I like it, but okay, you suck too. Why so angry, Bo? Your arcade is a toy. I guess I like toys. Piss off. Now, I get DMs like this on a regular basis that are 150 fucking % real, and I didn't read the header that it was a joke, that it wasn't real. So I actually tweeted this out, thinking how funny it is. Then Tipster, this is where it gets bad, because I didn't realize it was connected to the podcast that I watched. So it says Free Play Arcade up there at the very top, and then Tipster quote tweeted it and said, because he knows those guys, and he said, "Hey, you want to explain yourself, Free Play Arcade?" I'm like, oh. And then I found out the thing was fake, and I was like, oh fuck. And then my hero, Retro Ralph, was like, dude, that was for my group, it was not for the public. And I'm like, oh fuck, dude. And I had to apologize to him, and I did apologize to Free Play Arcade.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it's normal. I mean, I'm off my drama game. I'm off my drama game when I'm doing the Arcade1up thing, I suppose. And well, so yeah, that happened. But I did apologize to those guys, and I did apologize to Ralph. And Ralph was kind enough to follow me, and he's doing quite well. He just hit 10K a few weeks ago, and I really enjoy his stuff. He takes like arcades that would like a Wii game, Tatsunoko versus Capcom. He got the graphics for that, and he built Arcade1up out of it. It looks freaking amazing. Absolutely fucking amazing. Yeah. It's not like a common game. It was never an actual cabinet. So But now we go to our friends, and this is a free play arcade. They don't like the Arcade1ups. They're not a big fan.
I have a feeling that you're putting it mildly.
They're not a fan. Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
They're not fans. Okay. They take their hobby very seriously, which is always generates laughs. I'm also, don't worry, no hate for these guys. Come on, let's be cool. Like, a lot of you guys in the audience that are gonna laugh at them are probably every bit as elitist geeks as they are. So here we go. This is a free play arcade, and they're gonna rail on Arcade1up.
Arcade1up is still a thing. They still exist. And in many ways, and as we'll get to, in many ways, they're still basically doing the exact same thing they were. They still make low quality kids toys.
I would say what's the opposite of bigger and better now?
Yeah.
Right.
Smaller and worse somehow.
So we finally getting around to cover some of their news. And I guess I want to start.
I want to back up the real arcade Facebook groups, right? That don't get anywhere near as much as attention as the Arcade1ups Facebook groups do. They usually have a sign in there: you are not allowed to talk about anything but original arcades, because they're afraid their entire site will not be about restoration and not be about like 80s, 90s arcades, which is pretty fucking funny if you ask me. Because yeah, the thing is, like, this podcast, as well as it's shot, as quality cameras, they're switching cameras. They got a better fucking setup than I do, better equipment too, and because they're rich, and you'd have to be rich to really get into arcade restoration and into real arcades in general, which I don't. And that's the thing with Arcade1up; it's available to more people. So just by default,
I can go pick one up at fucking Costco right now.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Can you pick up a 1980 Pac-Man? Yeah, no, probably about $1,200 if you're lucky. Yeah.
I'd have to check and see if a different Walmart could stock that one for me.
No, they don't. You can't pick these at Walmart. So they're going to talk about this. This is great.
Start by saying that to all of you people who have messaged me or commented that Arcade1ups are really great because with a little bit of effort and a little bit of money, you can turn them into your dream multicade. I don't care. I mean, like, that's fine. That's something you can do with these Arcade1ups. You could do that with any computer you've ever owned.
Correct.
You could do it with lots of stuff. And maybe the argument is that these flat packed, whatever, cheap.
I thought you'd know the argument, but go ahead.
The little cheap cabs are better quality than some of the other stuff you could buy that were similar. I don't know if that's true. That's probably not even true.
No, it's not. It's the opposite. They're garbage.
It is definitely the opposite. But I guess
I don't know if
some
that's
people
true. It's definitely the opposite.
Yeah, I know. They're so dancing around it. I'd rather just come out and, like, why just don't report it, you know?
Argued that because you can break the law easily with these.
Listen to that.
Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. These guys are a party. Listen to this.
It is definitely the opposite. But I guess some people have argued that because you can break the law easily with these, there's somehow merit. There's merit to them. I don't know.
Well, maybe you should turn them in. All these guys making these illegal arcades.
Yeah. If you know they're breaking the law, how about going to the fucking cops? You know, that might be the.
I guess if you want to make these illegal arcades.
Wait, I forgot. This is YouTube. People don't know what cops are.
Let's call the cops. Call the cops.
How much you want to bet this guy has an emulator on his computer?
Yeah, exactly. And he just said before, this stuff's been available for years.
I'm gonna punch this fucking shit.
Yeah, I know. It's like, this stuff's been available for years. You could put it on your PC. Well, yeah, no shit, but that's not what people want. They want something that looks like an original arcade without actually being one. But he doesn't think that. He thinks everybody's been fooled.
I don't know. I feel like I could do it even easier than doing it with an Arcade1up and more effective because
I know on Craigslist right now you can buy a bunch of illegally hacked Arcade1ups for about $1,000, where they've changed the buttons out.
Illegally hacked. They're modified.
Illegally.
I don't even think that's illegal. It's only illegal if you actually start putting a coin. If you start using it.
Well, you heard it, guys. Scuff controllers are breaking the fucking law. There you go.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if you're modifying
No, I
stuff,
think it becomes illegal when you load the ROMs on it.
Yeah, it does become illegal. But like it's like you said, how much you want to bet this guy has an emulator? And the fact that even bring up the word illegal, most of the game companies do not track these emulator sites down, with the possible exception of Nintendo. So it's pretty clear that they don't give a shit. It's technically illegal, but it's like
if it came up, they'd have to defend their intellectual property.
Yeah, we're talking about a jaywalking crime on the internet, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, if you want to put that illegal stuff. If you want to go to jail, I don't know what he's trying to say.
To have quality.
I'd be willing to bet this guy used LimeWire in 2007.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's not as good as CDs. Did you know that? You know,
change the sticks out to have quality sticks. Change the monitor out to have quality monitor. Change the computer to have 1,000 games or whatever. Run a Pandora's box or something.
You've custom built an entire arcade cabinet out of a piece of garbage.
Right. Well, that's,
I mean, I saw a MAME cabinet built out of a spare tire.
Nice.
And I appreciated that more, frankly. It was turned sideways like a cocktail.
All right, now there's some truth to what he's saying. Now, the Arcade1up stuff is made of IKEA furniture. I think that's the best way to put it, okay?
Yeah.
But to make it easier, let's say you wanted to make a nice thing, you got to be able to cut that wood, you got to sand it down, you got to track down the graphics, you got to do it. In this way, the graphics are already there, and you can put anything else you want into it, including modify the buttons, put the joysticks in, and do all that other things. Now, that's actually not really good for Arcade1up, because that first generation, and most of them are behind me, the ones that came out of the box, this is where they're correct. They're not very plug and play. They have improved. These guys didn't bother to look into that. But they have improved, but they're not exactly plug and play. But me personally, I learned so much shit about arcades through doing this stuff, be able to, put a panel together. Maybe if I had the money, I might go up to the next level, and then the next level will be those guys. But I don't know. I get the gatekeeping feeling here.
So yeah, I mean, these are still really, really small. They're still kids. So and we had a post on the community group that I want to make sure I kind of get what I said to that post. I don't care if kids have fun with kids' toys. That sounds awesome.
Yes.
More power to them.
Your Galaga that's this tall that I see in gift shops, right? The place you have a Burger Time.
Yeah, I like that Burger Time actually. But our bigger problem that we've had and that we've tried to express many times is that one, these aren't real arcades, and they don't play like real arcades. They don't sound like real arcades. They're just little emulation boxes. It's the same stuff we've had for a long time, just in a slightly different form factor. Mm-hmm. That they are designed for kids, which is good. It's just we hate this weird.
What? Yeah.
This guy goes into an Avengers movie and walks out pissed off that Iron Man isn't real.
Yeah, I know no shit. Like he's acted like it. Like this is emulation. Everybody knows that. No, this is this guy that goes to a wrestling event and says that's not real. No kidding. They're emulation kits. They're just a little larger. That's it.
It's only a game. Why do you have to be mad?
Yeah, exactly.
Concept that we've seen that's emerged where people are like filling a
snobs. Exactly. They're snobs, but they don't care.
An adults type place. Like there's some bars now that will have Arcade1ups. Which that's a violation of the license that Arcade1up usually
they don't care.
They don't. Yeah, it's true. The sale is a sale to Arcade1up, but it's
what are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to do? Turn these bars in? Is that their responsibility?
That's you, Tommy. That's why I go to a bar. I go to a bar to play a fucking Arcade1up.
Yeah. Well, what it is. Look, technically, you probably need a license depending on the state you're in, and you need permission from the company.
Probably, but who gives a fuck?
Exactly. These guys do, because this is ruining arcades.
It's also
this is the message that Arcade would like you to understand about.
And now they're blaming the company for other people using their product illegally.
Damn that company.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah. Next time somebody gets beaten to death with a baseball bat, I'm suing Louisville Slugger. I mean, get the fuck out of here.
Every single facet of everything they do. They don't care.
It also
They
just
don't
does
care.
long-term
Arcade
damage.
1up doesn't care about people making you pay for Arcade1up in a bar. Yeah, no shit, they don't. Because it's not their fucking problem. It's the bar owners.
To the integrity of these games, which some of
Listen to this. The integrity of the game.
The integrity of the
game. Listen to this.
This is the message that Arcade would like you to understand about every single facet of everything they do. They don't care.
It also just does long-term damage to the integrity of these games, which some of that should be on the license holder. It is. Some of it should be on Arcade. Some of it should be on the people who try to use them commercially or show them to adults.
The integrity.
I have literally been to a bar that has.
How does it literally hurt the
I don't think you've been to a bar. I don't think you have.
Yeah, I know. Like the integrity. Bro. The integrity of what? The integrity of fucking Miss Pac-Man?
Yeah, dude, I respected Pac-Man until I saw him in the front of the And now, you know what? Now I just returned my Super Smash Brothers game because.
Well, no, Nick. It's because you don't know that's emulation. That's not run into a Jamikit, into it. What do they call it? The old ones were CRT screens. See, you didn't know that. You don't understand the integrity it takes to set up a CRT
Pac-Man's a fucking whore.
into a 40-year-old cabinet that's probably falling apart. You know, like most of them are, and running that into a JAMA harness. You don't know these things, and everybody that buys these pieces of junk doesn't know that that's not the real thing in the back. You get the fuck out of here, pal.
Whole cove,
right?
Yeah. And it's just there's their
in various states
free play
of
arcade because we like your name,
right? And we also have it's also on all of those YouTube personalities or spokespeople.
This pissed me off. This actually got me mad. And he doesn't name the YouTube personality. I'll tell you why. Because none of them say this shit.
Who said things which is just completely untrue, and they know it's untrue when they say it, but they got free stuff or they got paid to say it. That they're somehow perfect, arcade perfect.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I know. I like, and I know a lot of you are hearing me kind of like talk about this, and you're just like, that's so mean, that's so unfair.
No, just you're lying. Actually, here's the thing: the YouTubers that are doing Arcade1up and Arcade1up mods, they in most cases they were like these guys at one time. They switched hobbies. Cool Toy is a guy that I'm familiar with. Some of the first videos I watched when I first started getting interested in this, after I saw ETA Prime's video to build my Street Fighter illegal multiplayer arcade, they tell you exactly what's wrong with them. Exactly why, if they're being run on MAME, if this is what's not like, you can't experience the arcade experience because the hardware doesn't support it, or it doesn't. So it's a complete bullshit lie. Now, I don't know of anybody. I know people have gotten machines from Arcade1up, but guess who they were? Big YouTubers like Ricky. All right, I know him personally, and I know fucking Boogie's gotten a bunch of freebies. I don't remember even them saying they were arcade perfect. Because in order to be arcade perfect, they'd have to be an arcade. They're not. They never were. And they're not being advertised like that, okay? They're being advertised as really a piece of furniture. And these YouTubers who, I got to be honest, guy, you sound jealous of because they're going to grow their channels based on the popularity of Arcade1up. Restoration Arcades, unfortunately, it's not as popular. And for you to sit there and say that they're lying and telling you they're arcade, I would really like you to name a name. Call them out, because I'd sure like to know. Because the Retro Ralph, I've never seen him do anything that. In fact, he tells you that 9 times out of 10 when he's doing a mod, he tells you the difference between what you'd see in original arcade and what you would see in Arcade1up, and what's their difference. Perfect example: the Rampage machine. Gauntlet is a stereo game, and you actually have to go in the PCB and fuck with it to get it to run through stereo speakers. So, I mean, literally, this is a complete straw man. It's really, really dishonest, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's really crappy to the Arcade1up YouTubers, because the Arcade1up YouTubers are not telling you it's arcade perfect because they got paid off.
These people who make Arcade1ups are trying their best or whatever. No, they're not. They're cheap. They're which is okay if you buy. Another comment that we have is like, I got it for $99 at Walmart and it's a good deal. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That could be fine. I don't know. If you got it for $99, then you were able to hack it up for another $100, and you have the multicade of your dream. It's still too small. It's still not. But whatever.
Who
if it makes
fucking
you happy,
cares?
You go do.
You know what it is? You know what it is? It's not who fucking cares. It's nobody cares about what they're doing. That's the problem.
Literally, you bought the machine. You could do whatever the fuck you want.
You want to it, yeah. Well, that's illegal. It breaks.
You could put a hole in it. Fuck it if you wanted to.
It breaks the agreement.
Arcade1ups are opening like new generations to arcades. Like,
yeah, that's what he doesn't get. That's what the elitists never get. Is
like maybe a kid gets enough money and he goes, you know what, Mom, I want a real arcade.
I want a real one. Yeah, and actually, it'll actually bring him to you eventually. You know, because I mean these machines like Asteroids, 41 years old. Centipede will be 39. Pac-Man, 40. And Miss Pac-Man is 39 as well. I mean, if you're finding these things in their original they're old as hell. And the wood is getting old. It's like any piece of furniture you would have had sitting around for 40 years.
Yeah, the wood would be fucking destroyed.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, like, yeah, there's definitely, I don't want to see all those machines go away. I definitely like to see them restored.
They have their place.
And I would even recommend you go to this guy's podcast. But the idea you have this completely different thing on the block, and it's just like, it's crap. It's kid toys. The market is actually, they thought when Arcade1up marketed this shit, they thought they were marketing to guys your age. Well, guess who ended up buying them? Guys my age, Gen X guys that remember this shit. You have no fucking retro attachment to this. Like, I have no attachment to Pokemon or anything like that. But guys my age do, and that's who's actually buying it. Yeah, they're kids' toys. Arcades are kids' toys. Video games are kids' toys. So, like, listen to this.
If you like crap, play with crap.
Call of Duty is a career.
Well,
what?
Call of Duty is a career, Tommy.
God, it's a kid's game at the end of the day.
Saying just a game is such a weak mindset.
That is, Jesus Christ.
It is true.
No one cares. Like, no one's here to like make you upset because you happen to enjoy something. You can,
but it's crap.
No, I don't begrudge anybody. It's tough. It's tough because I hear it every once in a while, and I understand the sentiment of people who are coming to the arcade who also have an Arcade1up, and they know exactly where it sits, which is there's piles of trash on top of it. They never use it. They never have used it. They technically own it. Someone gave it to them as a gift because, you know, they said they loved arcades and they come out all the time.
Right.
And they're smart enough to not really use it because, you know, there's something better right down the street called an arcade.
Right. Well, and
that is probably fucking $1 a pop.
You know what's
got him? Got him.
It's probably $1 a pop. That's the thing.
Have you seen the Xbox Series X recently? It's like an arcade, but you could play like 1,000,000 games. And it expands back 4 console generations.
Yeah, I know.
You guys are just a bunch of fucking boomers with your little Pac-Man. I'll play it off the Xbox Live Arcade for free.
What does PlayStation Plus have this month? Let's see.
I know.
Yeah, you guys are such fucking losers. You're playing your fucking like your Pong and shit. I'm gonna play God of War, you fucking loser.
A lot of people said
alpha incels. Delicious.
We were like nervous about it somehow ruining our business or whatever. Business better than ever. We have 4 locations now.
But there you go. There you go. Stupid ass.
That's fucking 1-ups.
Oh, maybe, you know, my kid's 3. My daughter's freaking 12. She's playing them now. Now they want to go to the arcade. Stupid. And you resent it. You resent it. What? Because you can't bring 1,000 on YouTube.
Expanding at unheard of retro arcade clip. We'll be opening. We'll basically have 2 grand openings within probably 11
Congratulations.
months of each other.
I'm very defensive of the topic of not free play arcade. I mean, that's my job, of course, so I care about that. But arcades in general, arcade. And I know that Arcade1ups, even on their concept, if they're made out of pure gold, violate like the #1 reason that arcades are special and a thing, which is local play. Playing with the person beside you. Playing with the stranger that hits start on Mortal Kombat 2. That's where the magic lies. And that's something that you can't experience with an arcade.
You can't experience because that experience died in 1994. It's over. That's why they're buying them, stupid. You know, there's no arcade. They're illegal here in Germany. All right, they've almost completely died out where I'm from in New Jersey, where they're all DDR. And there was like one Street Fighter left. Everything else is a driving game or something. They've turned around. Yeah, I wish those old days were back. It was better than the internet. Like you strap up against the one guy. It's over. Those days are done. They're done. And the only thing you have left is these retro-free arcades, and it does not have the same atmosphere when we were kids. So, you want to call them kids' toys? All video games are kids' toys, pal, even big old arcades. You want to call them kids' toys? The people that are buying them. The CEO from Arcade1up said, we didn't know our market coming in. Now we do. Because Retro Ralph's around 40, I'm 40. I like all these guys that are doing it are in their mid-30s and 40s because they remember what you remember, stupid. Your businesses are blowing up.
Yeah, dude, this is the kind of guy who waits till marriage, and when he gets there, he'll only do missionary position for the rest of his life.
Look, I would love, I've always said I wanted a paperboy in here, all right? I would love to get into this part of gaming. I'm in a lot of parts of gaming that I really enjoy. The retro arcade restoration thing is by far the most expensive. And considering you guys have really nice cameras and really top flight equipment, and I mean, you have better stuff than some guys I know that do podcasts for a living have. You got better stuff than fucking Ralph, and I think he makes much more money than I do. So it's like, yeah, you guys can afford it, but you're gonna have more people interested. I mean, my kid who's playing arcades now, every time he sees a real one, he bugs out. Because they're super rare over here.
Bro, these guys sound like Bunty King. That's what this is.
You know,
it sounds like you're not a real gamer. I'm a real gamer because I have this fucking box that is fucking decaying from 40 years ago, and you have a stupid little kid's toy, you little fucking rat.
They're all kids' toys. It's all. I have no Gamer J Lee's in waiting call. I can't wait to play.
I was gonna say pull him in.
Not yet. No, we're waiting.
He's having a fucking seizure right now.
I know. I bet. Please pull him up. Okay.
Do it.
What do you want, Gamer J Lee?
Oh,
so,
God, here
first
comes
of all, I want to say congratulations. You finally found a way to make Arcade1up the entire topic of the show. Congrats.
Yes, I did.
Congrats.
I did. Okay.
But seriously, these guys are... the guy on the left looks like me, but with black hair and even more of an elitist cut. How the fuck can you pull that off? I'm a jackass who thinks Halo Classic is better than modern Halo, but Jesus Christ.
This is the NCO of gamers.
Yeah,
they don't
exactly.
Know. They really don't know. They're so into their hobby that they
these are the cynic snacks.
They're in
of
a
the gaming
bubble.
Industry.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
It's too funny.
Crazy.
And the crazy thing is, Tipster knows these guys. They probably have some really great information. If I was going to get involved in something like this, let's say the show took off, and I'm like, oh, now I can put a real machine in here. I'd probably go to these guys. But now I know they're kind of elitist, so maybe I'll go to another group of guys. You know, and I do notice, like on all these groups, don't you dare talk. And I'm in all these groups too. Don't you dare talk about Arcade1up. You know,
but you've invited me to some of those groups.
It's stupid, and the guy freely admits that his business is taken off. You know,
why are they trying to bring regulation to Arcade1up?
Yeah, I know. Well, it's what it sounds like because they're illegal.
Yeah, the regulators have come home to roost.
One up because it's not in public or it's illegally in public, and either way, it's busted. So it's a miserable time with you and your non-friend who's not there.
And I won't name drop him, but I was recently talking to a person who owns like an arcade. And they had actually put out...
It's an interesting classification for like a Arcade1up thing. Like
they had actually put out a Turtles Arcade1up.
It also sounds like a bullshit story. Listen to this. A real arcade goes an Arcade1up and they puts it in their real arcade. Listen to this story.
And they put it out there. And I said, like, dude, no, don't do that.
All right, I got to answer this guy.
What?
Don't do that. Don't do it. He doesn't want to.
Man.
Well, I don't believe this story. I can't imagine any arcade guy would do this. Dude, these things are not made for hard play. They're not made for it. All right. Top loaded gaming. To be fair, Arcade1up is a ripoff. If you want to play arcades and spend $40 for retro bill of made machine, let's see, $300 for one game. However, the consumer look. I have no doubt. Like, look, as far as a ripoff is concerned, once you get into the furniture stuff. All right, once you get the wood on there, you know, you got to turn a profit of it. Is this shit expensive? if you don't consider all the cost of shipping and everything that you have to do to make something profitable. You're probably right. You definitely could build an Arcade 1-up cheaper yourself if you wanted to put a PC in. All right. So yeah, I guess in that aspect. But here's the thing: they're getting better with every gen, right? I learned how to. I know how to place trackball. I know so much more to do, and that's going to be a much easier transition to me when I go to the real ripoff and buying rotting wood for anywhere from $1,600 to $4,000. Like new arcades, like these repackaged arcades. Go on Amazon right now. Look up Pac-Man. $4,000. You get a fucking sparkling PC, like some of these new arcades. These old, and another thing is the older arcades go up in value, even though they're fucking falling apart because they become more and more rare. So you could spend $300 to $500, and it depends on what you get to. You know, you can spend $300 to $500 and fuck with it, or just replace the spinner, or just replace the trackball like I did, and then you got something that's pretty close. Yeah,
but if your thing doesn't look like a goddamn Extra sketch, then you're fucked.
Yeah, I know. It's completely weird. Oh, by the way, they're LCD screens. They're not even art. So, like, yeah, I don't know.
$195. Suck my fucking dick.
I feel like I got my money's worth out of it. Everybody, it's a nice little talking piece. I enjoy it, and I do play them. My kids play the shit out of them. Which and then when their friends come over, they're like, they don't even know what the fuck they are. So it's like. Yeah, most kids don't even know what the fuck they are. And
right,
he's sitting there telling your generation that you don't know the magic of when you stand next to. And of course they don't know the magic. They weren't there. They weren't alive, or they were just born. It was ending. You know, yeah. I wish arcades were a thing. They're not.
And what the most shocking thing to me is he responded. And he was like, "Why not? What's wrong with it?" And I was just like, it's not good. It's like, you know, the joysticks are super wrong. The buttons are super wrong. It's too small. It doesn't do the game justice. The emulation is nah.
Oh
and
my God.
Within 2 weeks, he put a real one out. And he was like, yep,
you're right.
Yep,
you're 100% right.
I don't believe this story one fucking bit. Why would a real arc... Look, everybody knows these things aren't for fucking, like, why would you do that? And here's another thing. He would have to rig something to make a profit of it, right? And break the law. You'd have to either swipe or put a coin contract, I forget what they call them, a coin contraption in there, which you can do with these things. But what a pain in the ass that is, you know? So, like I just put a real one in. I've been using real arcades my entire time in my arcade. I just decided to get a 1-up. And then I realized how stupid I was. I mean, Jesus Christ, this is a bullshit story. You're really speaking to your own roots, preaching to the choir.
He was just like, right. So people who said that they would never pop up at retail places, besides all the ones we just talked about, Gaddy's, Pizzeria, there is a current Ninja Turtles out there that you can use a card swipe on, an Arcade 1-up Ninja Turtles. That you can use a card swipe. It only costs 50 cents per credit. That you can play.
It's about what it costs in fucking 1991.
An Arcade 1-up, which and I've
so it means it's cheap. Fucking
you wanted the nostalgia factor, boy. You get it.
You know, a lot of people
complaining about it.
All yours.
It's permissible or anything. No. You'll note that Arcade 1-up is very careful every time they get interviewed. They're like, these are home use arcades,
but they don't care
because I mean, not only is that the quality of the arcade, that's the license of the arcade. And yeah, everyone said I was super exaggerating when I was like, these are going to start popping up everywhere. We've seen these popping up at auctions. I mean, Craigslist has like 1,000 right now for sale, Arcade 1-ups, because they're coming off. A lot of kids or a lot of grown-ups or whoever got them for Christmas. They got them for Christmas.
The market is like 35 to 50, by the way. I guess, yeah. And a lot of 35 to 50 like kids' toys. You know,
they throw them in the corner.
And I like how his video game is not a kid's toy, and my video game is a kid's toy.
Unless it was made in 1985.
Yeah,
fucking kid's toy.
I sound like a bunch of fucking dorks, dude.
Warner, they didn't really play them, which is true for lots of arcades, but it's definitely true for an Arcade 1-up when the experience is so subpar.
So serious-ish question for our versus Ice Climber correspondent. Which one's worse?
I'll read them at the end.
Arcade 1-up Ninja.
This dude needs his beard privileges revoked.
Turtles or the Raw Thrills Ninja Turtles?
Whoa. So that's an interesting question, right? So you have at the base of the Arcade 1-up, you've got a good game that's being just mangled by low quality. And then on the top, you got Arcade
Turtles isn't that good. It's a quarter stealer. I mean, all beat 'em ups are fucking rip-offs.
Arcade quality hardware. but a bad
The
game.
amount of money I spent on Die Hard. Oh my God.
I don't know which one I'd rather play. It's tough. That's really close because it would grate on me so much to see such a poor example in the Arcade1up Turtles. But then again, the Raw Thrills Turtles was kind of just like, just so boring.
Yeah, I goodness, I think I would have to go with the Raw Thrills version only because I am relatively confident that a new out-of-the-box Ninja Turtles Arcade1up would not survive one credit of a playthrough with me.
That's the thing.
I'm not even rough on the sticks.
If you put a gun to my head and said, which one are you going to put it free play? I guess I have to choose the Raw Thrills because it's the only one that I won't.
Because when he games, he plays hard.
He's a real
I hit those. He's a real man. I'll rip that fucker right out of there. Jesus Christ. I wear Magnum condoms. You know,
go to jail for or get
right. Yeah.
But like in my head, I'm like, that's actually a really tough choice.
Yeah, he's one of those guys.
The old weightlifter gloves.
We are talking about that crowd.
Oh, don't get me started on this.
Yeah, we're talking about that crowd.
Yeah,
Can you just pull the trigger, right? Just pull the trigger and let's get it done.
There are no winners.
All right, so since we last covered Arcade1up, they've released new cabinets. They've discontinued some other cabinets. They've generally, I think it's safe to say they've become more focused. Like their deluxe versions previously had.
They're growing, they're changing. Yeah. What a shock!
Like a bunch of games.
And you think the first gen was so shitty, and they were able to push out more machines and more machines. And I'm hearing rumor they're going to drop.
Now they're upgrading.
Yeah, they're sponsoring Evo. Yeah, they're upgrading. Yeah. They're getting better.
Going online.
Yeah.
It was 12, 15, as many licenses as they could get. And now it seems like that they're getting a little bit more narrow on their cabinet choices. And so there's
only one cabinet that has like 15 games.
Last stopped, they had done the Galaga, the Rampage, the Deluxe, the Final Fight, the Space Invaders, and I guess the Centipede, and some other ancillary like exclusives. By
the way, the Centipede does not have a real hap trackball. Just want to let you guys know. Don't buy it if you were expecting that.
And I don't know if they had released Street Fighter yet. Since then, they've released a Street Fighter cab, a Marvel Superheroes cab, and I think Pac-Man was already out. But they've released a Golden Tee cab. The MK2 had been announced, I think, last time we covered it. MK2 came out. The Star Wars they've released now. Turtles, and I guess Burger Time is either out or is still being like open for pre-orders and stuff.
Sounds like they're doing terrible.
Yeah, they're really struggling.
They're struggling.
So they've expanded their lineup.
So let me get this straight. You're pissing and moaning. Your business is going up, okay? And I don't know if the two are combined, but it's impossible because I see a lot of big YouTubers. Hey, a lot of influence have these Arcade1ups, big ones, and they're producing more stuff, more junk.
Burger Time has Burger Time, Karate Champ, Caveman Ninja, and Bad Dudes. And I know if you're thinking right away, you were like, wait a second, one of those is an odd man out, and it's Karate Champ, right? Because that's like 2 sticks. They just went ahead and threw 4 sticks on Burger Time.
Oh, nice.
That's like
4 stick,
2 flavors.
They ruined the integrity of Burger Time.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Caveman Ninja is actually a really good game.
I think those are using the authentic leaf switches.
Right. Oh, yeah, for sure. What's really great is that's a normal size joystick, but because it's on an Arcade1up, it looks like it's like a foot tall.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what I was initially saying, I can't even reach down. Like when I play an arcade,
I will say this guy looks tall, and he looks taller than me. If you are over 6 feet, you probably have to put it on a riser and sit down. It's going to be difficult for you. Some of the new designs that are coming back will have the screen tilted. It'll be a little, but these first gens, I'll be perfect. I have to be honest. Love Arcade1up, right? That's why I do have problems looking down, and I'm 6'1", so that might be something you want to think about. If you are Nick DiOrio's height, you're fine.
Arcade1up when I play. When you force me to play one on an unreleased podcast, I tried to reach down and touch the controls while standing up, and I could not.
Yeah, this guy's about 6'4", so it's probably a huge pain in the ass.
It is super short. It's uncomfortable. And it crumbles in your hands.
So because I'm manly.
And that,
I'm a man. Superheroes. Cabinet came with Marvel Superheroes.
Nukem and Doom.
No, he didn't. That's too passé for him.
Children of the Atom and the Punisher. The Punisher might be
for you millennial
prize there. No,
Alpha
no
Incel
Marvel vs.
sophistry
Capcom
hour
there. Now, what's really funny, they couldn't get the license for Marvel vs. Capcom, but the very front of their cabinet says Marvel Capcom. It's just missing the little VS.
I mean, it's all they're trying to do, man.
Right. Well, and they've gotten more into like the furniture business. Their risers have become more artful. Their stools are available now. They're selling parts to help fix your cabinet.
They're killing it.
Selling the name of a game that you care about. They are not giving you the game that you care about. They're giving you something that is hurting for the game that you care about.
Right. That's
So whenever you bought a retro pack on Xbox, that's not really the game. You've been fooled. You've been fooled.
And they make you defend. The defenders of Arcade1up aren't defending Arcade1up at all.
Right.
Oh.
They're defending their love of a game whose name is being stolen, actually licensed properly by the current license holders.
Stolen?
I'm sure have nothing
to be stolen. They paid for it.
That's what I was saying. They had to have licensed it.
Yeah, I know, but they see that's kind of how all their own ass they are. That's stealing them.
Game that you are not getting. Yeah, that's what you're defending. We all care about Galaga. We all think it's one of the greatest games of all time.
Life and death.
We defend it by putting it out in public, by fixing the machine all the time, by doing everything we can to preserve.
Wait a minute, you got to fix it all the time? Sounds a lot like Arcade1up.
What a fucking waste.
Yeah, what a waste of time. You mean it wasn't good? Like 40 years after it came out?
Galaga
That's
out
not
there,
quality.
and Arcade1up is making you defend and pretend that a broken non-version of it is real. It's
Nobody thinks it's a real arcade. Nobody thinks it's a real arcade. I'm pretty sure I saw him picking up. He bitched out of these cabinets. Anyway,
this has to be a troll. This has to be a fucking troll.
No, they think it's affecting their. I think they honestly, because you know the Yoda guy on Twitter. Pitmaster Yoda, he had mentioned this. There's a section, they think this is hurting their business and their hobby. The Arcade1up. Arcade1up is a separate hobby from the real arcades.
Isn't Pitmaster Yoda the guy who's like the puppet?
Yeah. He sent me a letter. He says there's a whole group. So these guys think that Arcade1up is probably helping their business, to be honest with you, is hurting their business. And they can't do anything online without attracting Arcade1up fans. So it's driving them crazy. It's beyond stupid.
It's so mad.
Right. Well, and of course the people who receive these, they feel like very defensive for their purchase, especially if they got one of these $500 or $400 models that they have now.
I did. I got the Star Wars $500. I got that.
Some cost fallacy there.
Right. Well, and it's sad too because like
listen to what they say. They say there's a cost fallacy right there.
A cost
if you start thinking in your head, those are like the absolute top tier modern console prices.
So you say like, look, nobody. If I want a console, I'll buy a console.
Dude, he's treating the one-ups like the plug-and plays we used to get in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Plug and play Batman, plug and play.
Yeah.
Look. Here's what happened too. In fairness to them, when they first put them out, they didn't have light-out marquees and all that other stuff. All right. The fact is, the market they were aiming at, your market, wasn't buying them. Mine was, and they wanted the light-out marquees, and they wanted fucking light-up buttons, and they wanted all sorts of other shit on there. So they raised the price. It's completely normal because older people that had money, look. Normally somebody my age has more money than somebody that's in their 20s. It's unless they, hit the lottery or for some reason are like brilliant business people, okay? So the market is actually over 30. So those guys have a little more money than somebody's 20. Your generation has no connection to this shit. You didn't grow up with arcades, and at least not the ones me and these windbags grew up in. So it's like the market completely changed. So the prices got raised because they were demanding better parts. All the things that he was complaining about, all the crap, all those things are being phased out. Like, they're getting better all the time. Now, it is an expensive hobby, but it's not as expensive as yours.
For these things, you could have a really, really nice setup. And then, of course, the people, they talk about how easy it is to mod, which, like, that just can't possibly be a good argument for why Arcade1ups have value, because you can hack it and slash it.
Why wouldn't it be?
You can do that to PlayStations and Xbox.
You can do PlayStations and Xbox. Like, why wouldn't it be?
You can do it to your phone.
Why would it be? Well, I'm going to show you some hacks, some like really cool hacks. But watch this.
Please show the Cuphead
remember
one.
the cost? Oh yeah, I'll show them all soon.
Star Wars. I actually had a chance to play one.
Listen to this. He said the cost is going up. Listen to how he talks about Star Wars.
The new Star Wars ones, and then of course my biggest consideration was going to be the yoke, right?
The yoke.
Everybody was worried about the yoke. Everybody, including me.
That's the thing with all Star Wars and Stun Runner and with
everybody was worried about it. I was like,
I have no idea what the fucking yoke is.
Yoke, do you know my Star Wars cabinet? It's on my left shoulder.
Yoko Ono destroyed the Beatles. And I'm
really Nick's talking about Yoko Ono. Jeff's talking about eggs. Tommy's talking about arcade parts.
like Diorio. It's the steering wheel, so to speak. All right. Yeah. It's like because a lot of their joysticks, the first wave was bad. They're right. Yeah, it was really bad. So when the yoke came out, everybody's like, "Well, is that going to be a complete piece of shit too?"
Is there another yoke, or is it just Star Wars and Stun Runner?
There's quite a few actually, from the era, but the Star Wars was kind of the most famous because you'll actually see Star Wars yokes appearing on a bunch of fighting game or flying games, and stuff like that.
Cool controller.
So yeah, it's a cool controller, and what's really funny is
Retro Ralph's here.
I guess, and I'm not here to compliment Arcade1up. It wasn't the worst. It wasn't as bad as their spinner. It wasn't as bad as.
That's when the price went up, stupid. Exactly. That's when the price went up. It wasn't that bad. No, it's not that bad. And here's another thing that pisses me off about you, guy. All right, you're saying that guys like you wouldn't name them because you didn't have the guts, but you're saying guys like Retro Ralph and Cool Toy are telling us they're the exact same as the real arcade. Retro Ralph, who actually bought a different yoke, when he gets an Arcade1up, he immediately takes it apart. Okay, and he said this yoke that comes with it is definitely it's better than serviceable. It's very, very good, and he actually bought a $400 yoke, which is it's like I don't know, like a brand new yoke that's supposed to be even better than the original arcade one, and put it on there. So if I'm watching Retro Ralph, right, and he's putting a different yoke on there, okay, then nobody is under the delusion that we're getting a real arcade. Nobody.
No, the integrity's gone. Can't have it.
Ralph and Cool Toy and all the guys, even the smaller guys that only have 1,000 subs, always tell you this is the difference between the real arcade and the other arcade. So this guy, everything's crap, everything's junk, and the yoke's pretty good.
A lot of their controls, it wasn't good or anything. But what's amazing is some of the people in the arcade world.
It was pretty good. Now it wasn't good.
Are so hungry for this kind of thing. There's a lot of people that have purchased the Star Wars
for the yoke
arcade just so that they could put other yoke games on it, to hack other yoke games on it.
Why not?
Because some of the other the USB yokes that are available are generally also shit, also not good. So
it's super niche that the yoke on a Star Wars cab.
You know what else is super niche? Your fucking hobby. You know what isn't? Arcade1up. It's actually commercial. And you ought to be grateful. Yep. You ought to be grateful. Because now people are like, okay, I gotta go, what's a real one like? But no, you're gatekeeping.
Well, and I haven't actually taken apart the yoke, but I've looked at some of the photos of the inside of the yoke. And it looks super simple, but it looks like it's definitely not the terrible quality of that spinner.
Your machine hears it talking shit about him.
It's not the terrible quality of that spinner. Yeah, exactly. So it's getting better. You kind of defeated your own argument.
And I know that they've tried to release other spinners, and
the reproduction yoke, but the stock yoke was actually kind of decent. I was surprised. Yeah, the stock one was pretty good, but you wanted a new one. I got it. Yeah. I'm saying I just don't want to drop. I'm not going for a world record on that thing, So I'm good with the standard.
I've definitely received a bunch of messages from people that was like, "Why are you criticizing the spinner? I was able to spend $80 to get a better one."
And that's poor shit right there, because the most common spinner is a guy I bought from. His name is Palmentero or something. I think he's from New Jersey. It's $30. So who would spend an $80 spinner? In fact, the people that got where this hobby really took off, and Ralph could probably back me up on this, is a guy named ETA Prime, and he told you he showed people how they could convert a Street Fighter cab into a multicade. Okay, and the whole thing took off. And I think Ralph and Cool Toy and Glenn and all these guys, they owe a great deal of service to this one freaking video that set off all these mods. So, it really is just elitism at the end of the day, and these guys have no frigging clue. Look what these guys build. I mean, it's pretty fucking amazing. There's a G.I. Joe. No, it's not a real arcade. It's these are retro pies for sure. There's a Punch Out that never came out. right? It didn't even have fucking 2 joysticks when it came out. There's a Pac-Man. That's that guy built the Dragon's Lair. These are beautiful, man. They're fucking fantastic. And no, we know they're not real. Here's something you can't have: a Nintendo-looking one. It looks like an actual original Nintendo.
That's dope.
Oh, now look at these. They're dope as fuck. They're not real. They're Arcade1up. It's a totally different hobby. By the way, Ralph knows real arcades. He has his own. He's built his own. He's restored his own. Look, I mean, the Punisher. I mean, these are fucking awesome. Yeah, look at the work these guys put in, and it's not even that hard.
Ruining my enjoyment of my own devices by having such cool alternatives.
Yeah, exactly.
What an
it's
asshole.
not even.
Fuck your
it's
hobby.
not even an It's not even.
Dude, fuck that. My hobby is the best hobby. If you don't like my hobby, you're a fake fan.
NBA Jam.
NBA Jam, Robotron. But I mean, it's not even that. The hobby that's below them, so to speak, is actually helping them. They don't even know it. They're not even smart enough to realize it. Which is funny. I mean, this is there's an arcade. Well, it actually does exist. It's the most expensive arcade in the world, the Fix-It Feel It Jr., because there's only like 30 or 40 of them ever made. You can even make arcades that never existed, like that one.
Back to the Future. That's dope.
Yeah. NBA. Actually, they're putting a there's a tapper. You know, you can't get. I mean, some guys built that, and I have seen some mods that look like crap. Okay, they don't
Mario Kart Double Dash.
Yeah, I haven't seen, but most of these are pretty cool. Stranger Things. You know, I don't see any Ralphs up here. I don't know if I collect these things. Look at that one. That's an awesome conversion because they actually did some wood cutting on that one to make it look like a Dragon's Lair pole position. You know, and all it's going to do is grow because people are demanding like the driving games, and there's a Super Punch Out, there's a made Punch Out versus a real Super Punch Out. NHL Open Ice, great friggin' game, fantastic game. It was the NBA Jam for NHL. Awesome game if you can get it to run because Raspberry Pi doesn't run it that well. Another strain. A lot of people like Stranger Things for Weddies. Oh, and by the way, if you think you can't do them, you can because they sell the skins.
Gauntlet too.
They actually sell the skins for this stuff. They're not that difficult to put together. I am not like a fix-it man. I just watch Ralph's videos. I watch ETA Prime's videos, and I got into it that way. So because I can't afford the other stuff, I can only afford anywhere from $300 to $500. You know. These are awesome. I love this freaking hobby, and I hope Oblivious, a game that actually never really existed. That's awesome. That one's awesome. Wow, that
you know what? Just to piss these guys off, I'm gonna order my fucking machine right now and the stool. Go fuck yourselves, you.
But you can actually. So if you like, these guys ordered the because there's a King of Fire that might actually come out. That one right there, hopefully. Yeah. So like and here's the thing. And I've heard Ralph say this. Okay, so this is where it's not true. I've heard Ralph say this. I've heard Cool Toy say this. I've heard the Wave 1 cabinets. They're joysticks. If you're gonna get a Wave 1 cabinet, it's probably gonna be shit. All right, it's probably gonna be crap. You're gonna have to do some upgrading. But now they've come down. I've seen them as low as $70, $90 and $70. So if you want to do just what I showed you and mod them yourself, it's really not that difficult. You don't have to have a background and anything, and you can do it watching YouTube videos. So yeah, that's it. That's the show. There you go.
Do you wanna see? Should we end the show on Idiot of the Day? Or should we get started Idiot of the Week?
What do you mean?
Yes.
What would happen?
Yes.
What I miss?
You want to see how not to pet a lion?
Oh no, you can't.
Trust me, it's safe. It's safe.
It's safe. I literally just watched this. Yes,
it's safe. Yeah.
All right.
This is how you not pet a lion.
Do not pet a lion. I bet you don't pet a lion. Period. I mean, that's always like that. That was always my policy. Oh my god. There's no blood, guts, or not in his mouth or anything.
No,
right?
they get away. They get away with it.
I'm gonna get hit with that. All right.
But I'm sure he lost a limb.
First of all, I could tell by that cat already. He's ready to do something because cats get still. I don't know anything about fucking lions.
I'm gonna be fucking pissed off.
But I've owned cats. That cat is not. He's pissed off. You can tell right away.
And the dude's too close.
Yeah, you shouldn't even be that close.
That cat's telling me, get out of here.
Cat,
get out of here.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
You already growled at him. That would have been enough for me. Let me tell you something. I've been around one of these lions when they roar. You have heard nothing like it. It can travel. I was in the Bronx Zoo in 1992. Okay, right. And I heard this fucking sound. It was like, and I could hear it, right? All of course, it's like a cat was throwing up, okay? Except it was really loud, and it seemed to surround the whole area. We finally go to the center of the Bronx Zoo, and there's this male lion screaming at this female lion, and all she did is what cats do. She kind of put her paw in his mouth.
Shut up.
It was so fucking loud, and he wasn't even putting much effort into it. It was so weird. Let's see what this asshole does.
Watch how flawless this is. Goodbye.
And
then you can hear him scream.
Get your selfies out. I probably will. I will get fucking hit with that. I probably will. There was a lot of people in there today.
Oh well.
All right, but that's my defense to my dopey hobby. Thank you, Retro Ralph, for showing up. You have no idea like how long my wife even knows who you are. And the other thing is that one of the things I didn't like, although and this is the reason they didn't name names, the YouTube community for Arcade1up is like almost zero toxicity, especially compared to ours. You know. They're really nice. They're extreme. If you want to get on Facebook, if you can bear getting on Facebook, they're pretty helpful. They'll walk you through anything. I've talked to Glenn. I was always pretty confident if I could get a hold of Ralph that he would help me with something. This is a community for people usually above 30. So it's not a bunch of jerk offs. It's not a bunch of gatekeeping jerk offs. And I gotta be honest with you. Thank you so much. You rock, Ralph. I appreciate the big donation. Yeah. So if you want to go to that community, feel comfortable. I went in there. I didn't let anybody know that I had a following on YouTube, and they were really, really cool to me. This is something you want to get into. And I would even recommend going. It's like, yeah, the real arcades need to be restored. We need restoration guys, and I would recommend going to those guys too. They obviously know what the fuck they're talking about.
That's a lot of money, I guess.
They're a little
person of color.
They're a little elitist, and they don't know how good Arcade1up is. You know what would be funny? If they start selling them at their arcades. That would be a fucking scream. All right, let me actually get to all the donations today. Let me read them off real quick. I don't know if my wife got it. Retro Ralph, of course. The Jamis, never risk your meat beater. No, I would agree with that. GG, great interview. Oh, that was from the other day. And then I'll have to go to the other ones. Excuse me. Cole Kiddo, I'm pretty sure that I saw his pinky out while he bitched about these cabinets. Anyways, my nephews love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones. Get the fuck over it, you pompous windbags. All right, can't disagree. Alpha Intel Sophistry Hour. High as a kite. Cole Kiddo, dude needs to have his beard privileges revoked. Gamer J. Lee, the guy in the blue shirt looks like me with black hair and elitist. C-word, cunt. Fuck this guy. I'm not saying fuck the guy. In fact, don't go harass them, but whatever. The Arcade1up crew fucking disliked the stupid video. Optimus Realists, I can totally understand this, as I'm the same with Transformer elitists. Pages refuse to mod or upgrade figures. LOL. Some bitch and moan about fucking Transformers. Like, don't they wear? I mean,
people bitch about everything.
You know, like I probably have a Transformer in my parents' basement or something like that. I would imagine if I want to keep it, I'm gonna have to like do something like replace parts, because it was 35 years ago. You know, Jesus. Hi, Zakai. Scientists found a cure for cancer. Tommy C. Let's talk about arcades. Yeah, exactly. All right, everybody. I'm gonna go into the paid chat. So if you're a member of any one of our channels, I'll go in there right now and I'll bullshit with you. In fact, I'd really like to hear from you. I think that would be great. And I'll see you all tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pay attention to the news channel, and we'll talk about stuff Nick likes to talk about. Like Keemstar.
This is the almighty infinite, independent excellence. Devil fighting, rebel titan, weed smoking alchemist. Fake identities, okay, you cool with Jason Bourne. Running with these Wolverines, okay, you about to catch a storm. I ain't never been a liar, got tired of niggas playing me. Head in my legs like she about to catch a pedigree. Chi-Town, the King's home, slapping fives, black stones. 6 mile to danger zones, bullets look like waffle cones. Folk affiliated to evolution of Machiavelli. Don't make me lead them eagles to you like I'm Chip Kelly. They feel my struggle, I express it through my hip-hop. I'm about to make it hard to breathe, here's a headline.
I don't know, I just really don't like big tits. I just prefer